can't believe we're in person.
We're in person.
Welcome back.
Cheers.
Cheers.
With our coffee.
I was going to start singing.
Glad you didn't.
I know. She's always so mean to me.
I'm not. I am. Yes, this is true. I am.
Just a little bit. It's okay.
I know. I love you, though.
I know.
I'm just so glad you're here in North Carolina.
I know. It's
So,
weird.
yeah.
We have our sign.
So those that don't know, Tara is in North Carolina right now with me at my house. This is my house. I don't normally have an Our First Rodeo sign in my bonus room, but we hung it up to commemorate our first in-person podcast.
I know. I'm going to fix your earring because it's crooked.
Please do. Thank you.
Yeah, this is pretty wild. This is going to go on YouTube too. This is our first YouTube video.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this on Apple and you're like, wait, I want to watch on YouTube now, this is the first one.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
We're hoping it works, and
Yeah.
we hope we can continue to figure it out, because when we're not together, then we'll have to put up a video.
Yeah.
I just heard my dog at the door.
Yeah. If you hear some sniffing, that's Boo.
That's Boo. It's not
That is
one
Boo.
of us randomly
God.
sniffing and scratching.
There's always something going on here.
There is. And I could hear Jennings with my mother-in-law downstairs, and I could hear him when we were first setting up. He was doing his little happy noises.
Yeah.
So if you hear that too, it's just Channing.
Now Boo's trying to get through the door.
What is he doing?
I don't know. He wants to be
I'm
here.
going to go make sure he stays away. You tell everybody about the retreat.
Okay, I'll get us kicked off. But okay, so we just left a retreat, and it was the first time that Lauren and I actually got to travel together and have our own booths. So Lauren has done pop-ups before. I haven't done a pop-up. And so we were invited together, and we thought, we always try to get any excuse to work together and travel to see each other. And so this was perfect because we wanted to go. Oh, she's back.
Sorry. I put Boo up. I put him downstairs.
We were talking about at the retreat too. We had so many wonderful moms coming up to us saying how much they love the podcast. And we were like, it is totally unhinged.
Yeah.
Are you sure you like it?
Yeah. Well, I think the retreat was the perfect time for some moms that hadn't listened to be able to drive and listen and then give us feedback, which was cool.
Or fly. A lot of them flew in.
I mean, California. There was several moms I met from California.
I know.
Came all the way to Virginia just for this retreat, which was 3 days? How many days?
Well,
Thursday.
It was
Thursday evening,
all day Friday.
and then a part of the day Saturday. So
yeah.
I'm out of breath from running up and down the stairs.
I'm out of breath from this whole weekend. That was a lot. I was just saying that we get excited for any time there's an opportunity to work together.
Yeah.
We take it. But every time we always are so exhausted afterwards.
Yeah.
It's never a vacation.
Yeah.
In that sense.
Well, because we had all the merch.
That
we loaded up in the budget.
Yeah.
And then drove the budget and then unloaded the budget. And then, but it was so fulfilling. And oh my gosh, I don't know, just being in the room with all these moms that just get it, there's just really no other feeling. And if you've never gone to something where you've been able to experience that, it is, there's no feeling like it.
No, there's not.
It's hard to describe it too.
You can't describe it. It's all these moms walked into a room. A lot of them didn't know each other. And the common denominator being autism is an immediate conversation starter. And
you don't have to explain a lot of stuff when you talk about it.
No.
Because they're just shaking their head or nodding their head yep.
Yeah.
Get it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. No, that was the best part of the whole weekend, was getting to see all these moms and hug them and hang out with them. Mm-hmm. We were worried about not being able to say hi to everyone, and we tried our very best because we wanted to see everyone.
Yeah.
And meet all these moms that have DM'd us or purchased something or just shared a sweet message with us. Like, we just don't take it lightly. And it's the best part of doing things like this.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
I really enjoyed it. And we got to see our good friend Jamie, and it was her birthday.
And it was her birthday.
And so that was really cool to be able to spend her birthday. It was just kind of like a neat little
addition.
Yeah.
And then we got to meet Jessie from Siblings on the Spectrum in person. She roomed with Jamie. So they were, when they were together, it was nice because we got to catch up with them and see them. And Dr. Tay.
Yeah.
Dr. Tay, she was telling us she liked our podcast, remember? And she was like, I said, it's so unhinged. And she was like, no, it's just unbuttoned. And I was like, ooh, such a professional way to say it. I was like, we're the blue collar podcast.
Yeah. And then I had to take it a step further and say it was unzipped.
Unzipped. That's right. That's right.
Because I can't just stop. I've got to keep going.
We got to keep rolling.
I hope I'm not going to slurp when I drink my coffee. I normally mute the mic. So
I slurped.
I apologize.
No, you're fine. So I flew in Thursday. I woke up at 4, got to the airport at right at 5:30, which, by the way, I had this horrible Starbucks encounter with people being mean, like people behind the counter being really, really mean to people in line.
Yeah.
So that's how I kicked off my day. But I had to say something because thank you.
My shirt.
Lauren's shirt says mean people suck, respectfully. And they do. They were so mean. I mean, this sweet, older woman, I'm probably 80. Anyway, and I'm like, okay, that crossed the line. Don't be mean. Don't be mean to her. But got through that, got to your house by 11:30. Yeah. You had already went and got the budget truck.
And you had told me 12:30. So when you got here at 11:30, my stuff was not packed. I was not showered because I was going to fit all that between 11:30 and 12:30 somehow. But we managed to get everything going. And
you got it all packed without me. Yeah. So that was huge. And so we're on our way to South Hill. It's a 3-hour drive?
Yeah, technically 2 hours and 40 minutes, but we had to stop. And then we were in the budget, which was nice little shaking. Anytime you're over 45, it shakes, and then it pulls to the right. So I had a nice callus on my left hand from pulling the steering wheel back to the left, and then Tara's nonstop in my ear saying, hugging the line, hugging the line, hugging the line.
I didn't say it because I didn't want to get you, worried about me, but I was so nauseous. I really was. I saved. I was trying so hard. If you were John, I would have been yelling at you the whole time.
You should have told me. You were so nauseous. No. I knew
we got
you
through
weren't
it.
looking at your phone or anything.
I can't.
You were eyes on the road.
Eyes on the road.
And then
holding on to this.
Roll down the window. Then I rolled mine down and it got stuck and wouldn't come back up.
Yeah.
But then when we got to the Virginia state line, I was like, we have to pull over and get a picture at the sign, which turns out not to be the smartest or the safest thing. But, oh gosh, did you hear my throat?
I did. That was
sorry
funny.
If I just heard that.
That was like a burp breath. I don't know what.
Yeah, it was weird. I promise it was not intentional. But yeah, so we got our photo and then quickly got back in the car and got the budget and got on the road. And then when we pulled up at the VIP happy hour, which was after we had unloaded the budget and set up all of our merch for the next day, we were the last ones there. So we didn't, as we pulled in, there weren't any parking spaces. So everyone sees the budget drive by.
There's Lauren and Tara. Yeah, because we pulled up to the venue that we were going to be at Friday. This is Thursday evening. We pulled up with a good hour and a half to unpack and get set up. And we were thinking about the morning, but this is not your first rodeo when it comes to pop up. So you were like, no, we're doing it tonight.
Yeah.
So we were sweating. It was wild and we needed water.
Yeah, you changed clothes in the bathroom because you were smart and brought in your suitcase. I didn't, so I changed clothes in the back of the budget. I just like pulled it down a little bit so that you really couldn't see above my ankles or
Yeah.
shins, I guess. But I can only imagine people driving by what they were thinking, like, is that a person in the back changing?
And I mean,
Yes.
South Hill is a small town, so like that word spread fast. Word spread fast
Yeah.
because someone saw you. Someone had to see you.
I'm sure.
Um,
That's okay.
yeah. Then we got to the VIP event, like a little late, but we made it, and that was a nice kickoff. Getting to see everyone,
And that was at the Bailey Center, which is a nice special needs center in town that one of the moms, Mandy, who we actually stayed at her farmhouse, which was
incredible.
She has created in honor of her son Bailey, and that was just really special to get to see that. That was such a cool center.
It was so cute. It was the vibe.
Yeah.
It was like this. It was giving like house, like cottage core, but like updated. But I mean, the OT rooms, I don't know if you went through a tour on like the whole place, but they had an OT room up front. And then where we were at, that was like a big OT room, like with all the tables in the VIP event.
Such a cool
And they just had cleared it out for us. But I'm excited because like all the leftover merch that I had that was like specifically that said like South Hill, and I gave it to Mandy and I was like, just give this to families as they come in. And so I'm excited that we'll have a little PLA in that center because I loved it so much.
It was really neat.
It really was.
And those people in South Hill were all so nice. Gosh.
So nice. Mandy activated her community, and I'm sure she just didn't even have to like ask.
Everyone was saying that she is salt of the earth, that she is just like one of those people that would give you the shirt off her back.
Yeah, I believe
you could tell that. And then the people rallied around her. And then even one of the moms that was attending but also kind of volunteering for some things, a good friend of Mandy's, Billy Joe, she came and helped at my table during part of like the busy time,
and she was trying to help me too, but she was probably like she's all over the place. I'm gonna stay with Lauren.
She just jumped in, and she was one lady walked up and I was talking to one lady, and another lady walked up and asked a question, and Billy Joe was like, yeah, that's 32. And I was like, dang girl, how'd you know that? She was like just in it. It was just so cool. And I love that about small towns too. Like you just don't get that everywhere. No. And it was really neat.
No, that was so special. It was so special getting to see that because a lot of small towns and rural communities don't have the support like that, like for, children with disabilities.
And Mandy's bringing it there.
And Mandy brought it. I mean,
we don't know a whole lot of the background and everything, but that center is doing some amazing things for that community. Yeah. So I applaud her for that.
That is the epitome of support your local autism community right there.
That's it.
Beautiful. But we were so exhausted. Yeah. Like it's the best kind of work. Yeah. So when we say it was work, it's like we loved it. We ate it up. But it's nonstop, nonstop. And so we were driving home yesterday and I think we hit our wall.
It was just, I think the budget had a lot to do with it.
It was so loud. You have to yell when you're having a conversation.
Yeah. And then once you get to because I like to go, I'm one of those 9 you're fine, 10 you're mine.
What is that?
I drive. 9 miles per hour over the speed limit, you're good. 9 you're fine, 10 you're mine, 10 you're getting a ticket. So I'm like, if it's 70, I'm going 79.
I am too, but not in the budget. So I tried to give Lauren a break and I tried to drive us home yesterday. For 15 minutes, I was going a nice steady 60.
In a 70.
But you cannot rein that horse. You cannot rein that horse. That thing is a wild Mustang. It's all over the road. So Lauren's in the seat, oh, you sure you don't want to go faster? So as soon as
everyone's flying around us, and to me, that was more dangerous than me just pedal to the metal.
They were flying around us. It was, I don't know. But then, Chad, Lauren's husband, Chad is a UNC University of, what is it? North Carolina, right?
Yeah.
That's how alumni. And he was at Chapel Hill on campus for the baseball games because there's like, I don't know, some kind of like, important thing happening.
Regionals.
And so he called us. He was like, y'all stop by here. And what is that street? Fayetteville? Franklin.
It's all right.
Yeah.
What's it from Dumb and Dumber?
Samsonite.
Samsonite. I was way off. Anyway, Franklin Street.
Street. We were Dumb and Dumber in that budget.
Absolutely.
Wait, we have a video doing Mockingbird.
I know.
I'm going to share it on our stories.
That'll be a delight.
It will. But so Lauren was like, you gotta get home fast because we need to get home to your actual house you could be a mom again.
Yes, I needed to get home because London was tracking me on my mom's phone because she can see my location. So she was literally tracking me. And, I was really missing the kids, but I wanted to hopefully at least be there before bedtime.
Yeah.
And we were there.
And we got
way before bedtime.
Oh, we had so much
fun. But then you did get to see Chapel Hill and walk Franklin Street and
get some goodies.
Yeah. And then we had a quick bite to eat at Sup Dogs.
Yeah. With some buffalo chicken tenders that I said would leave me with a ring of fire. If you know, I mean, that they burned on the way out.
Oh, gosh.
But they were delicious. Thanks, Sup Dog.
Oh, but it was so we fit a lot into.
We fit so much. I mean, that wasn't even all of it. That was not even all of it. But it was really fun that we missed. We got so after the long like conference day, then it was like the nighttime like dinner, drinks with all the moms. That was a lot of fun because then we were done working and we really got to like bounce around and say hi to everyone.
And have some cocktails.
And had some, nice. Yes. And then there was an after party. I mean, that was a lot of fun. And none of us were saying like, we do not go out past
8.
I was going to say 7.
Okay. I was giving an 8 because my Aura ring kept like, the app kept saying, it's time for you to wind down. It's time. Don't you think it's time to go to bed, Lauren? And I was like, yes, indeed. Aura ring, it is.
I know. Lauren, it was so funny because Dr. Tay was telling us like she was surprised that we do not like rally and go out like that. No, anytime we're together, you know what Lauren and I really love? A patio, like daytime drink situation. Obviously no children, no responsibilities that day. Like, but that's what we like to do when we have time to ourselves. Yeah. Like we love to do that and shop and enjoy the day and then get in bed at like 7 with DoorDash.
Yes.
Maybe a glass of wine, a good TV show and go to bed.
Yeah. Sleep by 9, 10 at the latest.
Mm-hmm. Scroll.
Yeah.
But we kept you out. I'm easy to rally if everyone's like excited.
My friends would be so proud because that's the first time I've seen, I think we left at like 1:15. That's the first time I've seen 1 a.m.
If it wasn't a child waking up.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Outside of my home.
Mm-hmm.
And what was funny is the bar we went to, because again, we were in a very small town. And the bar, it said on Google, because I typed it in as everybody was like, let's go to Cahill's. And I looked it up and it said closes soon. And I was like, sweet, let's go to Cahill's, everybody. They're about to close. Like, we're going to get in there and we're going to be pivot turning out. And then we get in there and that bar was so excited.
So excited for all of these autism moms.
And they bought us around a shot. They stayed open. They were supposed to close at 10.
They sure were. But they were like, lemon drops on the house twice.
Oh my God.
Maybe even 3 times. Yes. They were just so excited for us.
They were walking around with glasses of water too.
Yeah, they were hydrating us.
And pitchers of water and just
small town.
They were so sweet. They took a picture of everybody.
Where is that picture? Where is it?
I have no idea. If you have the picture, I'd love to see it.
Gosh, but no, that was like all these like this is like what I love about events like these, bringing moms together. It's like we still deserve to have some fun.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I feel like everyone got to just what is this saying? Throw down their hair, let down their hair.
Yeah, let their hair down and
Have fun. There was this just like immediate sisterhood. And everyone I paid for it though the next day. Absolutely paid for it.
You did pay for it.
It was bad.
Yeah.
This is why I don't drink like a whole lot, because I mean, I love like one glass of wine.
Yeah.
I do not like to be hungover.
I probably would not have been as hungover as I was if it weren't for Kate wanting me to drink the adult Shirley Temple with her at the end of the night. She was like, "It's my last drink," and I was like, "Okay, I'll take one." But then I had mixed so many different things at that point, and I mean, it was delicious. I love an adult Shirley Temple, but that was so fun. We probably should get into our topic because we've talked about. We have kind of.
What's our time?
It's long.
What's our time? 20 minutes. Well, that's good. That's a good. We said we download everyone, right? Yeah. 20 minutes. That's not bad.
Okay.
So, wait, but we have to talk a little bit about our collab.
Okay.
Because we promised people that we would talk about some merch that we're going to be doing.
So we have some fun stuff in the pipeline. Some, I mean, we'll obviously do like a Channing's Joy, Peace, Love, Autism collab, but this is going to be a fun, just different thing. And it's especially fun for us because we get to really work together on it. The other things we work together, but not as much as this would be a collab. So we're going to do some our first rodeo merch.
Yeah, I think we're going to start off with like a pre-order shirt.
Yes. Do we want to tell them what it says?
Yeah.
I think we could tell them what it says.
Go ahead.
So
go ahead.
Okay, so we're thinking, because obviously we want to stay on the same theme of autism inclusion kind of shirts. So it's going to say "Saddle Up and Lead with Love."
Yeehaw!
We should add a rodeo.
We should add a yeehaw in there.
Yeah,
somewhere. So we're excited about that.
Yeah, I'm excited. I love just like the whole rodeo Western cowgirl vibe. It's just, and it's like it's very on trend right now too, which is kind of crazy because it was not our intent.
No, it wasn't
at first. It was because we just really liked. Well, you originally had a shirt that said, "Actually, this is my first rodeo," and I loved that shirt.
Yeah,
because I could resonate with everyone with that so much, and I was like, "Wow, okay, let's do this." Exactly,
because like we will never claim to be experts on anything except for loving our kids.
Right.
And so our only advice is let your kids lead and
saddle up and follow their lead
with lots of love and understanding. Because when you do that, I feel like that's when the magic happens. And it's not always going to be rainbows and butterflies.
Yeah.
But we both know that once we just stopped expecting things from our children, which we never really put heavy expectations on them in that way. It was just, we were sad about not having the typical experience, I guess, and we don't want our kids to struggle. We're just really, that's like something we're really passionate about.
Stop focusing on the milestones that they should be hitting by a certain point just because that's what some sort of doctor has put out there in the world, that this is the timeline.
Yeah.
Nothing against doctors at all, but when you go to the pediatrician, they have like these certain timelines that by this certain time, just not focusing so much on that and just focusing where our kids are.
Yeah, and like assessments, school stuff with like always talking about deficits and things. It's like, okay, well maybe in your book, but not ours.
Yeah.
And once I feel like you throw that out the window, I don't know. It made me such a happier mother. It really did.
Yeah.
And when I'm surrounded by other mothers like you who feel the same way, I feel more empowered to keep that mindset. So anyway, that is going to be the first t-shirts. Did y'all hear Lainey in the back?
Yeah, Lainey has woken up
From her nap.
And I'm getting sound detected on Lainey Jane's crib.
Oh my gosh, she is so cute. Okay, so that's the exciting news.
Yes.
But Lauren and I were talking on the way home from the budget, or on the way home from the retreat in the budget. Just about summer, and I was just talking about school and kind of what I was going through, and we decided this was a question that Lauren always gets about Channing School. I always get this question about, what are you doing with Rob with school? And I'm in the same boat where I don't know what to do either, and things are going well at therapy, but I want to, look for a school setting that will be right for my child when the time is right. And we were talking so much about it that we thought, let's bring it into today's episode.
Yeah. School is always going to be a challenge for some, but can also be such a wonderful thing when done right. But it's so hard. I mean, I'm just so thankful for the school that we have, but also just nervous because I just never know when something might change. And school is such a big part of our kids' lives.
I know. You were talking about the process that you went through to get Channing at the school he's at now.
Yeah.
So what was that like?
So we started when he was 5. We considered kindergarten, but quickly realized it was just not time because that was shortly after COVID had kind of just been lifted and everything. So we decided to wait until he was 6 before we really started the process of looking into kindergartens. And the first place that I went to was Google and just typed in, schools near me, the best schools for children with autism, and not a lot, pops up at all. And so I started asking our therapists because our therapists I knew, worked with other families like ours. So maybe they could ask those families where their kids were in school at. And I feel like therapists too are kind of a therapist for the parents sometimes, and parents vent a lot to the therapist about
when you have a good
places.
one.
Yes,
when you have a good one, yes, it's everything.
I always ask Channing's people, his therapists, everything. A lot of advice is given from them or taken from them. But one of the places, and I don't want to say the name of it because I know people that have had good experiences with this school. It was supposed to be, just like the perfect place for autistic kids. One of our therapists had said she had heard great things about it from another family. So I took Channing there because it was a private school and they had an interview process, which annoys me whenever it's not taken into consideration, the time of day. Like when I would think if you're going to interview a autistic child, you might say like, what's the best time of day for them when they're the most regulated?
Yeah.
But that wasn't even asked. So that was kind of like my first like, but I was like, it's fine. We're going to go. And when we got there, they sat down with Channing and me for maybe 20 minutes. And within that 20 minutes, I was just letting them, because this was my first time having like a school process. So I thought I'm going to let them just tell me what's going to happen here. And they were basically evaluating him, but within 20 minutes, they looked at me and said, he's not right for this school.
Oh, God.
And they said it in front of him, which really irked me. I was kind of shocked how, they just out and said it. And this was my first experience, so I was very upset. And I was like, well, why? And they said he can't sit and sit at the table with us and have a not a conversation, sit at the table and interact with us for more than 5 minutes. And that's just not going to work for us here. Like, he needs to be able to attend for 15 minutes at a time at the table. And we don't feel like we're getting a lot of response back from him. It was just very
Demeaning.
And it was putting a lot of pressure on him to perform right then,
Yes.
like, and that irked me, that they just expected him to just sit down and perform. I hadn't really prepared him for much because I didn't know what was going to happen here.
Yeah.
I didn't know that he was going to have to, sit for 15 minutes and this was part of the test or something. So anyway, it was very strange. So when we got in the car, I took him immediately to this indoor play place and just let him run around and play, because I was hurt for him. I felt like that was just really hurtful how they said that in front of him. I didn't like that at all.
No. That's your a big red flag right there, that even if they said, "Oh, well, we can try it out," but we don't think, no, immediate red flag.
Yeah.
Immediately no.
Then there were a couple other schools that we were told were good schools for children with special needs. And I called them, and one of them immediately said, well, does he have an autism diagnosis? And I said, yes. And they said, we don't take children with an autism diagnosis.
Jeez.
And so that was hard, because all over their website, it says special needs.
Yeah.
So all special needs, but autism, apparently. I don't know.
And we were talking about, too, we were just pissed off in the budget van. I mean, full transparency, like, okay, how is that even legal?
Yeah, private schools can turn away whoever.
Wild.
Which, yeah. And I don't know a whole lot about, like, the school system and rules and stuff, but I do know that private schools can turn away anyone. And I hate to say that flat out and somebody say that's not actually true, but I don't know. Well, that's just what that's what
we were told. What you were told.
And I believe when I did a little bit of researching, it basically said that, without being so blunt, but it pretty much says that.
Yeah.
So I did go through our public school system to get Channing's IEP. And when we did that, at the time I still hadn't picked a school, because I wanted to, when we went through the IEP process, to get to tour the districted school that we were at. And I did that. Our first, and like the IEP meeting where like you create the actual IEP, we broke a record for it being 4.5 hours.
I remember you telling me that.
We were the longest IEP meeting they've ever had. And that was because I asked every single question. I had a therapist join me virtually as a advocate. And you can do that. You can have therapists or other advocates join you as, just an additional person that really knows your child. And I pushed back on a lot of stuff that they were saying define Channing, basically, in the IEP. And because this is a legally binding document, and when they were making a goal for the next 5 years to be that he can write his name, I was like, no, that's my goal for kindergarten.
Yes.
Like, that's my goal for this year. This is not.
Yes.
Like,
because he is more than capable.
Yes.
It's okay. No, the goal is, what tools are you going to pull out of your toolbox to, help Channing figure out, this is how I'm going to, write my name.
Yes.
If he couldn't already.
Yes.
Because I bet he knew. He just needed it's like, when someone finally gets an AAC device.
Yeah. And at the time, he didn't have that AAC device. And I kept mentioning, we're going to get an AAC. Like, that's our next step. Before he enters school, we want him to be able to have that with him so that he has some sort of voice. But, because whenever you get an IEP, you have to have an evaluation from an OT from a speech therapist, from, at least for us, this is what all they required, from the school psychologist, all these different people. So then they all put their evaluations of Channing into one document. And, those evaluations were 1 hour long evaluations on a random day, so each of them got a different version of Channing. And they put this all into one document, and then they're like, this is what we see about Channing. And I'm like, I get that this was, say, 3 hours of evaluation, but that's still not Channing. You've gone 3 hours, you're not going, if somebody met me just for 3 hours, they wouldn't get a full version of Lauren.
No.
So it was really hard to see him on paper like that from what they saw of him. And that's when I realized, like, the public school for me wasn't going to be the best route, because they had to just see him as this piece of paper, because there are so many kids in the public school. And the people I met with, they were very kind. They were very, they were willing to work with me when I would say, I don't want that, I want this. And, somebody had told me at one point, you can ask for more speech. Like if they say, we'll offer Channing one session of 30 minutes of speech per week, and you feel like he's going to benefit from more, you can ask for that. So I would ask for things, and they would say, yes, we'll put it in there as, depending on how he's doing, he might need more, they were trying to work with me, but they have hundreds.
And they can't promise you anything.
No. And they looked at me and said, they were like, so what are you thinking for next year? Because for Channing, for us, he's going to be in a self-contained classroom, which nothing wrong with that, but they were going to put him in that without giving him the opportunity of anything else. And they said, this is just what it will be here. And they were like, so what are you thinking for next year? And I was like, well, I'm trying to look into a private school that might allow him a little bit more of an opportunity. And they looked at me and said, if you find that, you should do that.
Wow.
And, that's when I knew they wanted the best for him.
Yeah.
And that it was a great team, but I also knew
that they have a lot of red tape,
that they could tell they weren't equipped, and they weren't going to be able to give him the opportunities that he deserved.
Yeah.
And that sucks, but I'm appreciative.
Yeah.
But it's like, God.
You felt like you were back at square one.
Yes. So I left that IEP 4.5-hour meeting knowing that I had to find a school for him. And just by God's grace, our therapist told us about the school that we're currently at. And she was like, I really think you should look into it. And I looked it up, and it was like 25 minutes from our house. And I was like, this is completely doable. It's not, super convenient, but I can still go and look. And when I went and we sat down with them, they just treated him differently than the first place I went for the interview. They sat on the floor with him.
Oh my gosh!
Like, yes. They came to him just like we were talking about.
That's a green flag.
Yes, to meet them where they're at.
Yes,
they sat with him on the floor. They gave him breaks. They asked him what he wanted to do. And in that meeting, we saw for the first time that Channing could probably spell.
Wow!
Because they pulled out all of these cards that said name, like the name of a color. So like pink, green, yellow, but it was all written in black and white. And then they had like balls of the colors, and you like set the color on top of the word. And this was like a very high level skill. Yes. Like they didn't know if we would be able to do it or not, but I was like, yeah, let's try it. And I love that they wanted to give him the opportunity to try it. And we were able to see he put the colors on top of the right color name, and it was written in black and white. So he took the pink ball and put it on pink, even though pink was written in black and white. He knew that spelled pink.
Yeah.
And this other place did not give him any sort of chances to do any of that. So I just knew, I had this gut feeling, and we talk about all the time following your gut
Mm-hmm.
and your instincts as a
Mm-hmm.
parent, and they will never fail you. They
Never.
will never steer you wrong.
Never. Don't second guess it.
No.
Trust it.
And so that's how we found this school. Is I talked to our therapist, and I felt, when I went, I just had the feeling.
Yeah.
I just knew. And I was like, please let us get in. Please let us get in. And, they didn't tell me right then and there if we were going to, get in or not. And they emailed a few, or I think they called a few weeks later and were like, we would love for Channing to join us. And it was just that, when the way they invited us to be a part of the school, it was like there was never a question. They were
Mm-mm.
just trying to figure out who his para was going to be,
Mm-hmm.
is what they were waiting on, is
Yes.
trying to pair him with somebody that would work for his needs. And I had no idea. I thought they were still evaluating him.
Yeah.
But really, that was the holdup, was just finding who was the right person for Channing. And that, I know that my school is a diamond in the rough, but that's what you want to look for, is those people that sit on the floor with your child,
Mm-hmm.
that don't take a 15-minute evaluation and give you an answer.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they truly are right for you, they're going to take more time than that.
They are. And I just pulled up because I said green flag and I was like, oh, I need to pull up Play Sparks
Mhm.
green flags. It's like a image, like a quick hits resource. So if y'all don't follow Play Spark, it's at play_spark. And they put together this really beautiful, I think they're SLPs or play therapists. I can't remember.
I think
Or
they're an
both.
OT and an SLP.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they put together this image that you can go and reference. It's a pretty recent one. But if you're wondering like what some good green flags are, this one's labeled pediatric therapist green flags, but this is totally like can be utilized when looking at like a school, like teachers. So the green flags are: meets the child where they are, which
Sitting
is what
on the floor.
respectful of family's culture, uses a strength-based lens, which is like, focusing on what the child's strengths are.
Absolutely.
Right.
I hate when some place, the first thing they say is, what did they struggle with?
Yes.
I'm like, can we start with, what do they do well?
Yeah,
What
let's
did they
focus on
excel
that.
at?
Exactly. Okay, follow the child's lead. Perfect. Active listener, which I think that is totally like listening to the child's body language if they're nonverbal, non-speaking. Even like with Rob, who scripts a lot and uses a lot of, gestalts, listening to that, right? Following their body language, but also the parents, like really listening to what we're trying to teach them about our kids and the feedback that we're sharing as we work together. And then respects all play styles: on the floor, running around, like just so many different things. And like we said, we're not experts, but we will always try to like share some professionals who are doing really well in this space. And this is a really great resource.
Which, that's another thing I noticed, the respects all or accepts all play styles. Whenever we were at Channing's, the school that he's at now, when I walked in, they showed us a classroom, and in that classroom, it was adaptive seating.
Wow.
So they had bean bags, they had swivel stools, they had all different types of seating available. And I was like, yeah, okay, this, it wasn't all just, desk and chair. And that's when I knew, just looking around, I was like, okay, this is a place that gets it.
They get it. And so there's a lot of parents that really probably were waiting to hear like a nice rundown of like what you went through and where Channing's at now, and that are still in like my position, where we're trying to figure out, okay, where, instead of just putting, like, in my case, Rob in a school, if where he's at now is amazing, and I've shared this on the last episode, it's so hard to leave because his therapists are really great, and there is a lot of education and a lot of life skills and things that we still need to work on. But I do feel like if the right school came along, I want to try it. We went through the IEP process, same thing. I remember one of the things that they told me is that, like, Rob would be receiving speech therapy for 30 minutes a week in a group. And I was like, well, like, how does that even work? Like, and I mean, just a lot of things like that. So public school was out of the cards because I also had a neighbor that was like, not great. I had, two other people that I knew from our neighborhood that worked in the school, and I described Rob and really tried to, ask them questions about his learning style. And does that seem like something that they could accommodate? And I got a lot of, like, head tilts and, well,
That's
I'm not
exactly
sure.
what I got when I asked people.
Yeah. And I'm like, why would I put Rob in a position to fail or be a guinea pig? Like, I just don't want that.
Yeah.
And so then
sorry to interrupt you,
No,
but
it's okay.
did your public school give you any type of idea if they would let Rob have a para if he was in the school?
Yeah, well, I said he would need to have
Like a
one-on-one. And they're like, well, we would see how that would go. Like,
See, we were told no.
yeah.
That's just, we don't have the resources. It's not an option, which I mean, I believe them, but that just sucks that that's the case.
And see, they didn't flat out tell me no, but they made me believe that, we were going to have to fight for something like that. And that everyone in that IEP was going to have to agree that that is what Rob was going to need. So, like, they wouldn't just listen to me and follow my lead as a parent.
Yeah, your recommendation.
My recommendations. So we went through that. I called 2 private schools. One of them said the same thing about if Rob cannot sit and attend, or if he's an eloper, then that's not the right school for him. And then one of them said that they were, one of the big goals is that they would be conversational and being able to engage in the classroom in that way. I mean, and these were really expensive, like, special needs private schools. And I just couldn't believe, like, what I was hearing. If y'all hear Lainey, she's in the background.
I promise that she's okay, being taken care of.
She has a helper.
But she is very, very vocal right now, which we love and encourage. But she is trying to be on the podcast.
Well, you
just
never know.
Yeah.
We could get her in here. Maybe it'd be a good idea to just bring her in. Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. Maybe in a little bit.
Maybe
when we get towards the end.
But so yeah, I just was not getting that good gut feeling. I wasn't feeling at peace about even go in person. Like, these were just phone calls with the 2 private schools. But I found in this private school, it's a wonderful private school that I have toured twice now. And the thing is these things are expensive. So you can't just say, okay, we're going to go. A lot of families either have to save up or they have to get financial assistance, which we don't qualify for. And we don't have, like, there are some states have, like, certain grants or
we have a grant.
Waivers.
Yeah. There's a grant. It's called, like, the North Carolina ESA grant that you can apply for, and they give funds as long as they have them. They give them to anybody that applies, but you have to have a diagnosis and you have to fill out the paperwork and stuff. But but Texas doesn't have anything like that.
I don't think so. And what might be a good idea is finding some resources for our listeners for what could be available in their states.
Yeah.
But John kind of looked into it. He said that he didn't see anything. There's something apparently on, like, the House floor, like a bill that they're trying to pass that would provide some sort of support.
Yeah.
But anyway, so this school's great. It's amazing. And I think that we found a place that I decided I want Rob to remain at his therapy center for the foreseeable future. So maybe after Christmas, maybe we wait till the next school year. But I didn't want to go into this summer stressed and anxious about what to do for August because I've done that every single year. And so I think I wanted to share that because there's a lot of parents I know have told me who do the same thing. So when we were talking all about this topic in the budget, you were telling me something that Channing's Joy is going to start doing. And I thought that that would be a beautiful place to end this episode on.
So we are actually going to be putting up on the website later today a application specifically for scholarships for education. So whether that is a school wants to apply to be able to offer a Channing's Joy scholarship to a potential student, or a family wants to apply and, give us a little bit of background on the school that they're wanting to attend, hoping to attend, but unable to because of a financial issue. We could look into providing a Channing's Joy scholarship to those schools. So hoping to just be able, because we know how expensive it is, and it sucks that sometimes you just can't do the public school because it's just not what's right for your child, but then financially you can't afford the private school, and so you're just stuck in a really tough spot. And we want to be able to help if we can with that. I know I won't be able to help everyone, and that sucks. And that's like one of the hardest things about this is I do want to say yes to every single person. So that I will say yes to as many as I possibly can. And we really just want to be able to try and give some other people the opportunities to have a great experience, even though sometimes you have to pay for it.
I know. And so, like, for someone like me, I am not in need of that financial assistance. John and I are okay. It's just something that we have to financially plan for. But there are so many families that absolutely could not afford tuition for a school that is like Channing's, or one that I am really hoping that will be a good fit for Rob when I feel like we're ready to make that transition. So I'm just excited for that good work you're doing. You're going to bless so many families. Like you said, I know it's going to be hard that you're not going to be able to help everyone, but I know you're going to help as many people as you can because that's just what you do.
Yeah. Well, we definitely feel like we'd love to be able to, pay for the therapy bills and things like that, but there's some other things we could pay for that maybe people don't think about. So that's why the scholarship, I think, will be something hopefully that people can tell other people about if, they just know somebody that really just wanted an opportunity that they weren't going to be able to have it otherwise. So I can help with that.
Yeah, so there's going to be an application on channingsjoy.com.
Yes, so it's channingsjoy.com, and then when you go onto the website, there's a little tab that says the foundation, and under that, there's a tab that says apply for funds. So under the apply for funds tab will be the you'll see just like the regular Channing's Joy application, and then I'm going to add a scholarship educational application. I guess that's what we'll call it, something like that. So it'll be two different ones. And then we also have the autism consultant and the autism dietitian. So Britton and Molly, we have scholarships on there if people, are just wanting for the summer, like maybe to do some nutritional like her membership does a ton of things, but she gives a ton of ideas of how to introduce new foods and change up diets. And I mean, she's incredible. Britton is. And then Molly, summer is like her busiest time because a lot of people are doing potty training during the summer.
Yes, before the school year.
So we have these scholarships that you can apply for on there that offer 2 months free of the membership.
That's
So
amazing.
there's a couple different ways to get some funds and maybe some assistance.
That's incredible. And if you're someone who is not in need of financial assistance, if you purchase anything from Peace Love Autism, if you purchase anything from Channing's Joy, you are doing something to support the autism community.
Yes.
And I think that is just as important to sharing about what Lauren's doing. You're also putting your money where it matters. And so we just thank y'all for your purchases.
Yeah.
If you're not looking for that financial support or assistance, you're still doing something about supporting this amazing community that we love and that we know deserves more. And we're just trying
absolutely
to do whatever we can. And I think this is a really amazing next step in the Channing's Joy Foundation, because I feel like as our kids are growing, we're figuring out too, like,
different places where there's need, like there's a different need. Like, because I would not have been thinking about scholarships when Channing was 2. I would have been thinking about therapy and, all sorts of other things. So this is, as our kids are growing, we're going to see, oh, we need to shift to this. And who knows what that may be, because I can only focus on the here and now.
Yeah. But we have some dreams.
Yes.
We want to we want to make sure that our kids are well taken care of.
Yeah. I want to find schools that will hopefully be these amazing schools that help our kids to thrive, and
day programs.
Yes.
Great group homes and residential facilities that are just doing it right. So the sky's the limit with how you're going to be able to give back. And we just thank y'all for anything you purchase with us. It directly impacts those efforts. Okay. Well,
I'm telling my mother-in-law that I'm going to go get London. She's asking, I got to go get London from school. You got to go with me.
I do.
But she's like, promised I'm outside with Channing. Are you going to be able to pick up Lolo? Yes, I will go get her.
Yes, we're picking up London from her first day of summer camp. And then I'm going to head to the airport to go home to my boys. I know.
I bet you're so ready to get home.
I miss my boys. I really do. But it's hard to leave because this is like my second home.
Yeah. And all my kids love you.
Yeah.
Lainey was wanting Tara last night, not anybody else.
Yeah.
That's probably why she's down there upset. She's like,
I mean, that is my biggest flex, is that your kids really like me.
Yeah.
And Channing was holding my hand and jumping on the trampoline.
He wanted nothing to do with me last night.
Well,
he was mad at me or something.
I think he was just...
He gives me the cold shoulder when I get home.
I know.
Will Rob do that to you, or will he be excited?
A little bit. A little bit.
And Channing, it's going to take... Tomorrow, he'll warm up to me.
Yeah.
Today, he's still mad.
He's probably like, okay, I'm glad you're home. Why'd you bring Crazy with you?
He really... Every time, though, that's just... I'm going to have to butter him up with something.
Yeah. Fries, giggles, Skittles.
No, don't say Skittles.
Why?
People get mad.
Oh, red dye 40?
Yeah.
Which is a thing, we get it. But it's like, sometimes it's like, we need a Skittle.
I know. I give him giggles. I really try to give him giggles. But when you say giggles, people don't realize what they are, but they're like the better Skittle. But then if I say I'm giving him Skittles, I have people come at me saying, your child should not have Skittles. And I'm actually like, well, I'm actually giving him giggles, but also he's my child. But here we go.
Yeah, giggles are, if anyone wants to know, like giggles
are really good.
They taste just like Skittles.
They do.
But they don't have all the bad ingredients.
Yes. And I'm not like a crunchy person that knows these things. Jamie actually is the one that introduced me to giggles.
Yeah.
And I think they taste better than Skittles.
They're good.
And Channing really loves them. But then when I say it, nobody knows what I'm talking about.
I know. Well, on that on that vein, in that vein, we learned a lot about the way we speak this weekend, which is wrong. We just did
wrong. We just say a lot of things wrong. So.
Busted out of the water.
I know. All of these are things I've said. So can
no, you... I said something. What did I don't know what I said.
Probably not. I say it all.
Oh, blip on. I couldn't figure out how to remember blip on the radar. I was like, a blip on the what? What am I trying to say? And you figured that one out.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. We got to go get London.
We got to get London. Thanks so much for watching our first YouTube video. Yay. If it made it to YouTube.
No. Hopefully it does.
And we'll see y'all next week for episode 7.
Yeah.
Which there's this like percentage of podcasts, like a big percentage that don't make it past episode 7.
Oh wow.
So we got to get to episode 7 and then we'll be in the group, which means that we're liking each other and we're liking what we're doing, which we already knew that. Yeah. Well, maybe you're going to make a joke that you don't.
I know. I was going to say, knew you were about. This is the last episode. But it's been nice. It's been real. And
my first rodeo.
And now you can just listen to Tara from now on.
Okay. Well, we'll see y'all next week and have a good one.
Yeah.
Bye.